Very good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to another YouTube live session with me, Tradingview. So in today's session, we will be understanding how to set up Tradingview for your demand and supply methodology analysis. Now, I have done similar videos in the past, but what happens is Tradingview, they keep on updating their platform. So if you have seen some previous video and the way their platform or the menu options they look as of today, that might vary a little bit. Plus it was also in bits and pieces, so I thought why not to do a session again, because I have been getting a lot of queries regarding this recently, how to set up, and because they were scattered in different videos, so I thought why not to just do one single video where everything is covered. So let's get started with today's session. And before we get started, just give me a second, let me bring this up. Alright, so today is Wednesday, 13th of May 2020. Myself, Tradingview. And yes, like I talked about, so anyhow we are not doing any analysis today, but still just make sure you go through the disclosure as you move ahead. You can pause the video, go through the representation, the risk disclosure, the risk involved in the market, and also about the copyrights. So yes, today we will be talking about different tools and different indicators which we will be learning how to set them up so that we can start using it for our demand and supply methodology. So I'll be covering these things one by one. So we'll take the very first tool, then we'll understand how to apply it, how to use it. Then we'll take the second one, then we'll take the third one, and I'll give you the complete information, what settings are need to be done, and after doing that settings, how do you apply that indicator to your chart. So the very first thing we need is, when we do the demand and supply methodology, we need an indicator which helps us identify boring candle. So what I've done is I have created a custom built indicator which is called as a boring candle indicator. Now this indicator is absolutely free. You don't have to subscribe to any of my courses. You don't even have to take any of my courses. Anyone who is using Tradingview can use this indicator for free. Now how can you apply this indicator to your chart? So what you need to do is first come to Tradingview. The link is available in the description, so just click on that. You will be coming to the Tradingview website. You will be redirected to the Tradingview website. Once you're on Tradingview, if you're still not opened a free account, just make sure you open a free account on Tradingview, because if you're not opening an account, then the settings which you will be saving can be a little bit challenging every time to do these settings again. So once you have created your account, the settings which you'll do will by default get saved, and then every time you're coming back to those charts, you'll be able to see those settings. And the next advantage is, even if you log into another machine, all the settings would be replicated there because it is saved on the cloud. So you do your setup on one PC, go to another PC, log in with your account, you have the complete setup available to you. So make sure the first thing you do is create a free account, log into your account. After logging into your account, this is the home page for Tradingview. And like I said, the first indicator we want to add is the boring candle indicator. And like I said, it's a custom built indicator. So if you go to the indicator list, by default it will not be available in the indicator list. So how do I find it? The first thing you'll be doing is, here instead of ticker, you will be selecting people, and you'll be searching by my name, which is Tradingview, Surjeetkakkar, right, without any space. Now once you see that it is pointing my name, which is my profile, just click on this and press enter on the keyboard. And now what is going to happen is, it will take you to my profile page. And once you're here, you can see you have the second option which says scripts. Click on this, and here you can see all the scripts which I have created. So right now, like I talked about, we need the boring candle indicator. So by default, you will see that these would not be red, right? So these would be blank, which means you have still not added them to your favorite. Because we need the boring candle indicator, what I'll do is I'll add it to my favorite. So can you see, when you point at this, it says add to your favorite scripts. So you have to click on that so that the script is added to your favorite scripts. Now what is going to happen is, if I again go back to Tradingview, right, so just give me a second, and now I go to charts, right, let's open charts. So once I open these charts, as of now you can see I don't have the boring candle indicator on my chart, but once I go to my indicator window, can you see here on the tab you have this button which says indicators. Click on this, and now you have this favorite tab. And can you see in the favorite I have boring candle. Now if I remove it from here, you will see that this will no longer be in my favorite tab. Can you see it's gone from my favorite tab? So you need to add it to your favorite first, and now you will be able to see it under your favorite tab. And all you need to do is just click on this, and you will see that now all the boring candles are getting converted into blue color candles on Tradingview. So that is how you add the very first indicator, which is the boring candle indicator. This will help you identify where is your period of pause or your basing, right? So that is what we'll be doing first. After this, the next indicator we can also use is what I call as the explosive move indicator. Now, whenever we are trying to identify our areas of demand and supply, we always want to use the best of the best zones. And we understand that strength is one of the factor which helps us identify which are quality zones and which are not quality zones. Now, even to make your life easier, because this indicator also is not available on any other platform, this is again a custom built indicator which I've created. It's called as the explosive move indicator. So what this indicator does is that whatever are the explosive moves, it converts those candles into black color candles on the chart. Now these colors can be customized, so in case you're using a black background, you can always customize. Similarly, if you don't want to use blue, you can click on this. Can you see here settings? And if you want some other color, let's say I want orange. Now orange will look almost the same. Let's say what else I can take? So let's say purple. So now you can see that instead of having my boring candles as blue, the boring candles have been converted into purple color candles. So these colors can be customized. By default, it would be blue. So let's bring it back to blue. It was a little darker shade of blue. Let me do this default, reset settings, and now we are back to blue. So now I need the explosive move indicator. So again, you can see if I click on the indicator list, I don't see the explosive move indicator here listed anywhere. So what I need to do, the explosive move indicator, again I'll have to add it to my favorite. So once I add it to my favorite, you can see now it's here in my favorite tab, and now I can apply the explosive move indicator, and now you can see all the explosive moves have been converted into black color candles. The boring candles have been converted into blue. Just like you can change the color for the boring candle, you can change the color for this as well. So let's assume I want pink, and now you will see it's pink in color. If I want yellow, you can see now it's yellow. So yes, based on your preference, you can change the colors. It is absolutely possible, right? So this is how you add the first two indicators, which is the boring candle indicator and the explosive move indicator. Again, I'll tell you quickly how you need to do that. On the home page, you will have to change this to people, search by my name, Sujit Kakkar, go to the scripts tab. All the scripts which I have created are available here. Now all you need to do is add the boring candle indicator and the explosive move indicator to your favorites. Once you've added to your favorites, you can easily apply it to your charts by clicking here and clicking on these indicators which will be in your favorite tab. Now, other than this, I also have some indicators which are subscription based indicators, like your demand and supply zone indicator. So in case you have subscribed for those indicators, you will also be able to use it. If you have not subscribed for it, then you will not be able to use it. So how can you use the indicators you have already subscribed for, which are my paid indicators, like the demand supply zone indicator? So what happens is, initially you will not be able to see it in your indicator list, and this invite only scripts tab will also not be there. Once we activate that indicator for you from the backend, next time when you'll click on the indicator list, you will see this tab that says invite only scripts, and that is where the scripts which you have subscribed for, like the demand and supply zone indicator, if you have subscribed for that indicator, you will be able to see it. Click on that, and now you will see that I can just hide these two for a minute. The demand and supply zone indicator is now applied. It is pinpointing to me where are the demand areas, where are the supply areas. So this is how you add these indicators. Again, boring and explosive are absolutely free. This is a subscription based indicator, and yes, if you have subscribed for this indicator, it will be available under the invite only scripts. So that is the first thing, how you add these indicators. Now let's remove this one. Let's take an assumption you are only using the boring and the explosive move indicator, not the demand and supply zone indicator, because these two are absolutely free. So now I have both the indicators on the chart. So if I go back, we wanted to start with the boring candle indicator. We have understood how to add this. Explosive move indicator, we have also understood how to add this. Now the next thing is, using boring and explosive, now I will be able to identify my demand zones and supply zones, provided you know the strategy. So let's say you know the strategy. Now what you need to do is, the next thing you need to do is, you have to draw your demand areas and your supply areas, right? So now we need to draw the demand zones and the supply zones. So we do this by using a tool which is called as the price range tool. So what I'll do is, I'll again go back to Tradingview, and you will see here we have a tool which is called as, I think this is where that tool is. Let me just check. This is where it would be. So can you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 7th tab, you have this indicator which is called as price range. Now the tools which you will be using very frequently, what you can do is you can star them, right? So which means add them to your favorite. So what happens is, when you add a tool to your favorite, you get this floating toolbar. So every time now when I need to use this tool, I don't have to go here and again select this tool. I can straight away click, just give me a second. I can straight away click here and I have that tool to use, right? So that is very useful. So you can have this floating toolbar. In fact, this one I can hide, I don't need this, and you can just keep it at the top so that whatever tools you'll be using very frequently, always add it to your favorite. How do you add it to your favorite? You can see next to that name of the tool, you will have this star button. So just click on star. Can you see it gets added? Click on it again, it gets removed. So now we have the price range tool here. So let's assume, let's go to, let's say some other time frame. I'll just go to the daily time frame just for the understanding of it. And let's say I want to mark, let me go to a time frame where we can probably see a structure of demand or supply. Alright, so let's assume I wanted to mark this as my area of demand because we have a rally, base and a rally. So how do I mark this? So what you'll be doing is you will be selecting this tool, right? And then you can start from, let's say I want to use the wick to wick method. So from the high to the low. Now the first thing you can see is that it is only marking this area. It is not getting extended to the right. And second thing is, can you see it's freehand? So even if I place it here, it will be placed. If I place it a little bit above, it will be placed. So what happens is when you're doing something like this, if your mouse moves 1 or 2 pixel above or below, the values might not be the exact high or the exact low. So to ensure that we are always using the exact highs, exact lows, or the open high, low close, these as the anchor points, what you need to do is you have this magnet icon. So click on this. This is called as magnet mode. So what happens in the magnet mode? Let me just show you as an example. Now wherever my mouse pointer will be, right, you can see this crosshair will immediately jump to the nearest anchor point. Now what do I mean by an anchor point? Example, if I'm talking about this candle has 4 anchor points: the high, the low, the open and the close. So what you will see is whatever anchor point my mouse is closer to, that is where it jumps automatically. So now you can see I'm closer to the high, so my anchor point is at the high. If I go a little bit below, can you see now by default it jumps to the opening price. If I go a little bit below, by default it jumps to the closing price. If I go a little lower, by default it jumps to the low price. So once you enable this magnet tool, it will always anchor to one of these 4 price points on whichever candle you're pointing at. Let me show you another example. Can you see now on this candle, if I'm just showing you as an example. So can you see if I start from here, if I start moving down, can you see it again anchors to the next one, anchors to the next one, anchors to the next one. So always ensure that you have this enabled so that you're always having the exact price of the open, high, low or close. So yes, once I have that, now the next thing is when I'm drawing the zone, let's say from this high to this low, right? Because I want to use the low of this candle, so I have to be on this candle. And can you see as soon as I start going closer to the lows, it immediately anchors to that point. So the very first time what you'll have to do is you'll have to change the settings for this tool. So how do you change that? Just double click on this, right? And you'll get this settings tab where you can do the settings for it. So what I want to do is whenever I'm drawing a demand area, I want the color to be green. So I'll select it as green so that whenever I'm drawing the zone, it is going to be green in color. Second thing I want is, this is the line color. So the fact is I don't even need the line in between. Can you see it's this line which it is showing me? I don't need this line. I want this to be completely blank. After that, what is my background color? Background, I need green. So can you see now it has converted to green. But now the problem is it is still in this area. It is not getting extended to the right. So what I need to do is I have to select this extend right. And can you see now it starts extending to the right. So wherever you'll be drawing it, it extends to the right. Second thing, if you need these labels, yes, you can have that. Otherwise, it's not required. So I can remove these labels. Now these labels are no longer visible on the chart. And I can now save it as DZ, right? DZ stands for demand zone. So what is going to happen is now when I click on this tool, you can see I have the option apply. By default, it will be red in color. And you can also see these numbers are still available. It's just that we removed the background, but the numbers are still there. So what we can do is we can come here and we can say that the labels I don't want. So that is why what I'll do is I'll just make it as transparent. So now you don't see those numbers anymore. And what I can also do is we can save it again, and this also I can remove that. I don't want to see the colors, white, and done. So this is how you set up your price range tool, and the price range tool will help you in drawing your demand areas and supply areas. So let's assume that I want to mark this as my supply, a rally based drop. So what I'll do is I'll click here I'll simply start from the lowest point to the highest point. Now if you have drawn the zone and later you want to change the color, that is also possible. Just click on this. Can you see the zone has been selected, and change this to supply zone, and now you can see it is red in color for me. So that is how you will be using your demand zone and supply zones that is how you'll be drawing your demand zone, supply zones by using the price range tool, right? So that was your price range tool, which will help you in marking your areas of demand and supply. Let's move to the next tool. So yes, now we have the boring candle indicator, we have the explosive move indicator that is helping us identifying the zone. Once we have identified the zone, now we also know how to mark the zone, which is your demand and supply. After that, the next step is, yes, I have marked my zone, but what happens is whenever we are planning our trade, our entry is always a little bit below, our stop loss is always a little bit above in case of supply, and in case of demand, the entry is always a little bit above the zone and the stop loss is always a little bit below. So let me just quickly show you on the chart how we do it. Example, if I want to buy at this demand area, so what is going to happen is my entry will always be a little bit above the zone and the stop loss will always be just a little bit below the zone. So now what I want to do is I want to have a tool in place using which I can also do this in an automated fashion. So let's understand how this can be done. So for this, what we will be doing is we will be using a tool which is called as your trend-based Fibonacci extension, right? So let's get back to the chart. Let's bring this up. I think it should be here. So can you see that is where you have trend-based Fibonacci extension. Because I know I'll be using this tool very frequently, so again what I'll be doing is I'll be adding to my favorite, so that every time I want to draw it, I can simply click from here and then I can draw the tool. So the first thing I'll do is I'll just draw it the way it is, and now I'll be going to the settings and I'll be changing the settings for it. Now the settings which we will be using, just give me a second, let me bring up a blank word, bring up an Excel sheet just to help you understand what settings we will be using. All right, so just give me a second. I'm just bringing up okay, and perfect. So you guys should be able to see the Excel sheet now. So what I want is, example, if this is where I want to enter and my stop loss is below this, so in a way, in terms of this tool, this is my 0% and this is my -1%, right? Because we are going below the current price, so that is -1, right? So what I want is that my entry should be a little bit above. So what I do is I use a setting of 0.2%, which means from wherever the entry, this zone is 0.2% above, I want my entry. Therefore, this is going to be 0.2, and since my 0.2, and since my stop loss will be 0.2% below, so that is going to be -1.2, right? So these are the first two numbers. In case you want a little bit of more wiggle room, let's say you want 0.3, so you can give it as 0.3 and -1.3. If you want to use a little less number, you can give it as, let's say, -1.1 and maybe 0.1. So that completely depends upon you. I use a setting which is 0.2 and -1.2. And now what I need to do next is just get my other numbers. So this is my 1:1, 2:1, 3:1, 4:1, 5:1. If you want more numbers, you can even have that, but I just keep it till my 4:1. So this is my stop loss entry, 1:1, 2:1, 3:1, and my 4:1. So let's skip this. So these are the numbers which I need to set this tool. So what do? I go back to this tool, right? I'll start with the very first number. Very first number was -1.2, right? The next number was 0, right? So that is what the next number was. Just give me a second. Let's bring up the other numbers. Sorry, is 0.2, -1.2. Then we have 0.2. Then we have 1.6. So this is going to be 1.6. Oops, let's change this. 1.6. The next one is 3. So this is going to be 3. The next number is 4.4 and 5.8, right? So this is going to be 4.4, 4.4 and 5.8, right? And rest of them I'll disable because I don't need them, right? So now I'm done with this, and now what I'll be doing is the next step, that yes, I have done my settings. Just give me a second. Okay, so I have done my settings. Second thing is I don't need the background color, so I'll select that I don't need the background color. but I do need the lines to extend to the right. So I'll select this. So can you see now the lines are getting extended to the right? And what I also need is I want maybe the line to be a little bit thick, right? And this trend line I don't want. And the next thing which I want is just the price, and let's reverse this. So now what happens is, if I want to draw the zone, you will see I'll select this. So you always start from the entry to the stop loss, back to the entry. So you'll click on entry to the stop loss and back to the entry. Now you can see that's my entry 0.2% above my zone, my stop loss 0.2% below the zone. That's my 1:1, 2:1, 3:1, and that's my 4:1. Right, so always remember you start from the entry point to the stop loss point. So again, I'll show you how to use this tool. You'll click on this tool, click on the entry price, the stop loss price, the entry price, and now you have the entry and the stop loss line. Now in case you have your settings which is something like this, can you see I clicked on reverse? If I don't click on reverse, then I'll have to start the opposite way. What would be the opposite way? That now I need to start from the stop loss to the entry to this one. No, it's not working. So it has to be the other way itself. So let's go back. Let me see, did I save these settings? Right. So again, it has to be reversed. And once you do it reversed, from the entry to the stop loss to the entry, you have your 1:1s, sorry, 1:1s, 2:1s, 3:1s, 4:1s. If you want 5:1, 6:1, yes, you can add more numbers to that list, but that is how you do it. Now, if you don't want such a big, let's say, wiggle room, you want a smaller wiggle room, then like I said, you can use these numbers. You can do minus 1.1, 0.1, and then you can use 1.3, 2.5, 3.7, 4.8. If you want to give more wiggle room, yes, you can have these numbers. So this is how you'll be doing your settings depending upon what percentage you want. Now, what do I mean by this percentage? So what is happening is basically whatever my zone is, can you see my zone is at 91.28? Just give me a second. So the zone is at 91.28.45, and this is ending at 91.05.70. Right, because I'm using a setting which is 0.2%. So what is going to happen is this will calculate the zone size. So the zone size is around 22.75 points. Now what is the 2% of it? 2% is equal to this multiplied by 0.2. Right, therefore what is going to happen is my stop loss will be 4 rupees 55 paise below this. My entry would be 4 rupees 55 paise above this. So let me just show you this plus this would be the entry 91.33. That is what you can see, exactly 91.33. And my stop loss will be 4 rupees 55 paise below this. Therefore this is going to be this minus 4 rupees 55 paise, which is 91.0115, and you can see that's the exact number, 91.0115, right? So let me maybe zoom in so that you can read it clearly. So it's getting overlapped, but you can see it's 91. Okay, now you can see probably 91.0115. Right, so that is what it does. It takes the size of the zone, and because we have used it as 0.2%, therefore your entry is 0.2% above, your stop loss is 0.2% below. If you want 0.1%, you can use these numbers. If you want 0.3%, you can use these numbers. If you want a bigger number, you can do it. If you want a smaller number, you can do it. But now you know how to do these settings. You also know how to use this tool. So that is your trend-based Fibonacci extension, which is going to help you with your entry point, the stop loss point, 1:1s, 2:1s, and 3:1s. Right, so that's the next tool which we just covered. Let's move on to the next one. So now we have the boring candle, the explosive move. We have identified the zone. We know the entry. We know the stop loss. We know where is my 1:1. We know where is my 2:1s and all other reward to risk ratio numbers. The next thing is your position size. So now when I'm taking a trade, it's not 100% surety that the trade will always go in your favor. The trades can also go against you. So we should not be losing more than what we are willing to lose on that trade. So we also need to have a process in place which tells me how many shares should I be buying, how many shares should I be selling. So for this, we will use a tool which is available on Tradingview, and that tool is called as your long position and short position tool. So we'll use both the tools, long position when we are planning long trades, short position when we are planning short trades. So let's get back to the charts. Give me a second. And there we have the charts. So the first thing I'll do is, again, you can see this tool is available under this tab, long position, short position. I'll star them, I'll add it to my favorites so that whenever I need to use them, they are available just right here on the top on the floating toolbar. So first thing, we'll do the settings. So can you see I've just drawn this, and what I'll do is I'll go to the settings. So here you can define what is your account size, how much risk you want to take. You can do it in terms of percentage, you can do it in terms of rupee value. So let's say my risk per trade is, I want to take a risk of, let's say, 5,000 rupees, right? And let's say my account size is 1 lakh, right? And I want to take a risk of 5,000 rupees per trade, right? So these are the only two things you need to set, right? In fact, this also you can skip. You just need to define your risk per trade, right? So because I've defined my risk per trade, which is 5,000, so what is going to happen is, now when I draw this tool, so can you see this is where I have my entry, this is where I have my stop loss. So what I'll do is I'll take the long, because this is where we are planning a long position. We'll click on this, we'll click on wherever the entry price is, we'll take it to wherever the stop loss is, and can you see as soon as you draw it, and now you get the complete information that if you are taking this trade, you are taking a trade with a stop loss of 32.04, 32 rupees 4 paise. Your target, let's assume if I see this is my target, it is telling your target is around 90 rupees 80 paise. Therefore, you have a reward to risk ratio of 2.83, and the quantity you can do is 156 shares. So can you see it gives you the calculation right in front of you on the screen itself, so that you don't have to do the calculation. Yes, if you want to customize the colors, you can definitely do it. What I generally do is I don't keep these shaded areas, right? So if you want to remove those shaded areas, that can be done. So how it can be done is, you can just remove the colors by making them transparent, right? And the lines, if you want, you can maybe make them a little thick if you wish to. But yes, that is how you get your values. And what you can also do is, at times this can be too much text on your chart. If you don't like too much text, you can also put it as compact mode. Now you can see it will not tell you what these numbers are, but once you are familiar with the tool and you know what these numbers are, you can keep it as compact, and this will tell you your quantity, your reward, I mean your risk, your reward to risk ratio. So everything is available on the chart itself. So that's your long tool. Now let's assume that I wanted to do same thing for the short side, right? So let's say for a minute that this is where I have a supply zone and I want to do plan a trade. So again, for drawing the supply zone, I'll just use this tool. For marking my entry and stop loss, again, because we've already set the tool from the entry to the stop loss back to the entry. Let's remove this one just to keep the charts a little clean. So now you can see 1:1, 2:1, 3:1. And let's say now I want to do my position size calculation. So again, I'll click here for my entry, and that's my stop loss. But since I've still not done the settings, the very first time I'll have to do the settings. So let's do the settings, this as maybe 1 lakh, and let's say in INR I want to take a risk of 5,000, and again I'll say that I don't want these colors, and I'm done. So can you see again it is telling me you can do 50 shares, right? Yeah, that is what your quantity is. So that is how you can set your long position, short position tool. This will help you in doing your position size calculations. Just give me a second, please. Alright, so this will help you do your position size calculations and everything. So those are the very fast 4 tools, right? Along with the boring candle and the explosive move indicator. Let's move to the next step. So we are done. Not this one. So let me remove this. It's no longer required. All right, so let's move on to the next one. So now we have the boring candle, we have the explosive move indicator, we have the zones, we have the entry stop loss. We also know what position we would be doing. The last, I think it would be the last one. No, I don't think it's the last one yet. It's the second last. The next thing is we also need to do curve analysis, right? Whenever we plan our trades, we do something which is called as curve analysis. So for curve analysis, what happens is we are dividing some area into 3 equal parts. So how do we do that? For this, we will be using a tool which is called as Fibonacci retracement. So I'll again go back to the chart. Give me a second. And your Fibonacci retracement should be available, I think, in this tab. So you can see I have Fibonacci retracement. I'll also add this to my favorite. So can you see now all the tools are available in my favorite tab. So every time I need to use these tools, I don't have to go here in the menu from the top itself. I can select these tools. So can you see as if now if I'm drawing this Fibonacci retracement, it is dividing into multiple parts. I don't want that. I just want an area. So let's assume that my curve analysis is from here till here, right? Let's say. So what I want is that this area in between should be divided into 3 equal parts. So how do I do that? If this is my area, which means this is 0%, this is 100%. So if I want to divide anything which is 0 to 100% into 3 equal parts, what will be my divisions? My divisions would be, will be starting from 0, then we'll be having 33%, 0.33. Okay, why am I not able to give a point? So maybe I'll have to give 0 point. All right, so then we have 0.66%, and then the last one is going to be 1, right? So now I have divided, if you think about it, give me a second, let's remove everything. It's from 0 to 100 into 3 equal parts, which is 0, 33, 66 and 1. So again, if you want to extend it to the right, you can say I want to extend it to the right. If you don't want, that's perfectly fine. If you need the background colors, yes, you can keep them. If you want to reverse it, you can do that. That completely depends upon you. If you need the levels, you can also do that. So this is just based on your preferences. And now you will see that if I draw this one starting from here till here, and now you can see by default it got divided into 3 equal parts. That's the first part, that's the second part, that's the third part. So that is how you can set this tool to do your curve analysis, which will help you in dividing your curve into 3 equal parts. Now again, you don't have to do any mathematical calculations. Now if these lines in betweens, they are a little distracting for you, you can always say I don't want to see this line, right? If you want to change colors, you can do that. If you want to change the thickness of the lines, you can do that, right? So all these things can be customized. If you want to extend to the right, you can do that. If you don't want that, you can keep it the way it is. And yes, that is how you do this. So that's your Fibonacci extension. And now let's move on to, so not Fibonacci extension, Fibonacci retracement. And let's move on to the last one, and the last one is your text tool. Now this is also important because what happens is in the live sessions which I do, the Q&A sessions, when you people are sharing your screenshots, right, I always ask you to include the booster scoring, right, which talks about the quality and the probability. So because you will be adding that to your charts, right, before taking the screenshot. So let's talk about how can you take the screenshot. Very easy. Can you see on the top right corner, you have this icon which says take a snapshot. Once you click on this, it gives you a shareable URL. And now you can copy this URL, and whenever when you are sharing this URL, you can see that URL will basically give you that screenshot. Now if I want some text on this, what I can do is I can have that text tool. So you can see this is where we have the text tool. I can again add it to my favorite. So you can see here it's on the top. Now whatever text I'll be writing on the chart, so let's say this is, okay, let me do this, is text test, right? So can you see I've just put it on my chart. Now if you want to change the size and everything, that can be done. You can even save it as template, but let's assume this is what I want. Now when you will be taking a screenshot, you will see that this screenshot will also include this text, right? Let me just show you quickly. So now you can see that this screenshot also includes the text. So that is how you can add text to your chart. Just keep the text tool handy on the chart in the shortcut toolbar, and whatever you want to put in the text, you can put it in the text, and that's how you can do it. If you want to remove it, just click on this and remove it. Now one query which I also get at times is that if you draw something on the chart, later you get back on the chart, those tools are not there. Now the reason for that can be, can you see if I'm drawing something, can you see as if now I just have the cloud icon, it does not have a check mark, which means whatever I have created as if now it is not saved. Once I click on this, can you see it starts saving it, right? Now it is check marked, so now it is saved. So now if I come back to the chart, whenever these tools will be there, or whatever drawings I've done, they will be there because I've already saved it. Now we also have an option which says auto save every 2 minutes. So if you keep it on, you don't have to click on it every few minutes. It will keep saving it every 2 minutes for you. If this is disabled, then you'll have to manually save it every time, right? So that is how this can be done. You can put it on auto save so that whatever analysis you're doing, it's getting saved every 2 minutes. And I guess those are the only tools. Let me just see. I think we are done with all the tools which we will be using. Perfect. Right, so we are done with all the tools. So again, a quick recap: boring and explosive move indicator, they are free indicators. You can add it from by searching by my name, which is Sujit Kakkar. Add it to your favorites. They will be available in the favorite tab. You can add it to your charts. Both the tools are absolutely free. Demand and supply zones, will be drawing them using the price range tool. Entry, stop loss and the reward to risk ratio, we will be drawing them using the trend based Fibonacci extension tool. Position size, will be using the long position short position tool. For the curve analysis, we'll be using Fibonacci retracement, and the last one is your text tool. All right, so let's move ahead and see what do we have in the chart box. Just give me a second. And yes, one more thing which I would like to add is that I try to do about 3 sessions every week. 2 of the sessions are lessons. Like today, yes, it was more of a lesson where we are understanding how to set up the tools, but yes, I also do lessons on topics which you people are asking for. So if there is any specific topic you're looking for, make sure you put it in the comment section on any of my videos. I keep noting down these topics which I'm getting from you people, and slowly and steadily, one by one, I'll be covering these topics. And yes, the date and the time for these sessions are not fixed. Completely depends upon my availability. Whenever I'm available, I do these sessions. Generally, all my sessions are live sessions. I don't do them as pre-recorded videos. And yes, to get notified whenever the next session is happening, all you need to do is subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon, select all notifications. So what I do is 10 to 15 minutes before the session starts, I start with the countdown timer. You will get a notification when the countdown timer starts, and then if you're available, you can join the session live. In case you're not available later, you can watch the recording. And the Sunday session is definitely fixed. I do it every Sunday, 1 p.m. Indian Standard Time, where we look at where are some of the key demand and supply zones on some of the major markets. And yes, that basically covers up all the tools which we will be setting up and using for demand supply analysis. Now let me quickly look into the Q&As, right? So let's see what do we have in the Q&As. If I have something in the chat box, I'll answer it, and then we'll end the session. So very good afternoon to everyone. आप नहीं दिख रहे हो. So Sagar, initially my webcam was not on, so probably later you would have been able to see me. All your videos are super. Alright, thank you so much. How are you made? I'm doing good, Sunil. Is it free, this particular indicator? Absolutely, right? So like I said, the boring candle, explosive move indicator, both of them are absolutely free. Why you don't take any demand supply at the levels of pivots? So Mr. Kumar, right? I'm not getting your name correctly. I apologize for that. So Kumar, I have already done a session which talks about the difference between zones and pivots. So that video is already available on my YouTube channel. Just go through that video. That will help you understand why I don't use pivots. And there is already a video available for that, right? But how to anticipate the trend analysis, again, this is something which we cover in the POS and the POS Plus course. It's not something which we cover here, because first thing is you need to know the complete strategy, only then we can get into the next step. And what you'll also see is in demand and supply, we do not give a lot of importance to trend, but yes, we still use trend at times, for which we use something which is called as anticipatory trend analysis, or you can even call it as projectory trend analysis. So in your demo Telegram channel, you used to tell that the stock has made a demand zone or a supply zone, but with the use in M15H, see, again, if you don't know the demand and supply methodology, yes, you will get confused. What is that 1H and what is that 15M and what is that 5M? If you know the demand and supply methodology, you'll not be having any issues with it. It's basically the time frame on which these zones have formed. So M15 means that a demand zone or a supply zone has formed on a 15-minute chart. On H1, it will mean that a zone has formed on an hourly chart. If it says 5M, which means a demand zone or a supply zone has formed on a 5-minute chart. So that is what it tells you. So it's basically a scanner. Again, I'll add, it's not a call giving or a tip giving service. It's basically the only scanner in the world which is based on demand and supply methodology. But you need to know the methodology to use those alerts. Without the understanding of the methodology, those alerts, they have no meaning. Helpful session, sir. What are the advantages of using Tradingview over broker charts? See, like I said, there are some custom built indicators which are available on Tradingview. That's your advantage number one. Advantage number two, it's a free platform. So even if you just want to practice, as of now, you don't even an account with a broker, you can still practice. They also give you paper trading. You can have paper trading account on Tradingview. You can, try your hands on paper trading. It's cloud-based. You can do your analysis on one computer, go to another PC, log in from that. You will have your analysis. You can use it from your smartphone. So it does have a lot of advantages. And the main advantage being that on TradingView, you can have custom built scanners. On other platforms, doing custom built scanners at times can be a little bit challenging. How to convert USD crude oil to MCX. Sagar, now you already have MCX data feed available on TradingView, and that too live data feed, so you don't even have to do the conversion, just do your analysis on MCX charts. That's the easiest way to do it, because again, if you think about it, it is not getting derived from one factor, it is getting derived from two factors. What is the dollar price for let's say crude oil, plus what is the USD INR conversion price, and because both of them are trading individually, it can be a little complex. So you don't have to get into it. The easiest way is just do your analysis on MCX. That's the easiest way. Level on pivot, right, sir? So it's not level on pivot, it's a session which is pivot versus zone, right? That is what the topic would be, zones versus pivots. So just search for that, you will be able to find that video both in English as well as in Hindi. Please do one session on reversal patterns. So Vikas, if you go through that lesson which I'm talking about, the session where I was talking about zones versus pivots, that will basically talk about these reversal patterns. So you can also go through that session. All right, so TradingView only allows 3 indicators. You have to take paid version to add more indicators. Absolutely. So that is something which is, limitation from TradingView site, that if you have, let's say, a free account, you can only have 3 indicators. But the fact is, for demand and supply analysis, you just need 2 indicators, the boring candle and the explosive move. So you're still not utilizing all the 3 indicators, you're only adding 2 indicators. So even with the free account, all the tools which I talked about, everything can be applied, everything will work. Even on a free account, you don't need to upgrade your account to use all these tools. All the tools can be used, only 2 indicators you need, everything will be can be applied, and you will be able to use it for your analysis. Perfect. So that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you so much for joining in. I'll also be doing the same session in Hindi. For those of you who are comfortable in Hindi, I'll be doing it probably in a day or two. So until we meet next, trade safe, enjoy your evening, take care, bye-bye.